What's up, you guys? It's Maddie, back at it again with another video. Thank you so much for joining me. So sorry that I haven't put out a video in so long, it feels like, but a lot has changed. My life is a mess. It's okay. I'm living with my mom. I moved. I graduated from my dietetic internship. Whoop whoop! One step closer to actually becoming an RD. Just have to pass that exam, that pesky exam. But it'll be okay. Anyway, I wanted to do a super exciting video for you today. It's going to be a day in the life of a dietetic internship, or a day in the life of a dietetic intern. This isn't going to be a cooking show, even though I am in a kitchen. This had the best lighting, so we're just gonna go with it. So this is gonna be a day in the life of a dietetic intern. And unfortunately, I filmed this day in the life during the pandemic, so it's gonna look a little bit different for you interns who are hopefully not having to deal with the pandemic anymore. I'm crossing my fingers for y'all, because this day, I'll just say up front, it was a little bit boring. Not a lot went on, unfortunately. I had some projects that I was working on, which we'll talk about in a second. But I didn't get to see clients like I wanted to. And we'll explain all this later, but let's get into it. Roll the tape.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Maddie. It's an early morning. I am about to go to one of my rotation sites. We're still in the pandemic, so I'll have to wear a mask, and I'm not generally allowed to go to the site. I only go there once a week. So today I wanted to do a day in the life of a dietetic intern video. I hope it goes well. I just woke up about half an hour ago. It is now 7:47 a.m. I have to be at the site at 9. I do have a little bit of a commute, so I have just done my makeup and I'm about to get dressed and eat some breakfast. So yeah, let's get started on our day, and you guys will be coming with me for the majority of my day, so let's go.
Okay, so really quick, I wanted to introduce the site and then talk a little bit more about the commute to the site and your commute in general that you should be expecting when you are going into a dietetic internship. So the site that I'm going to is a community site. It's a WIC site in California. I'm not gonna really mention anything more about where it is, just for privacy reasons, but it is in California. A WIC site is Women, Infants, and Children, so it's a supplemental nutrition program for women and their children and their soon-to-be children, like if they're pregnant or something. And this counts towards my community rotations. So this is actually a pretty common community rotation. All dietetic internships have the same requirements of what they need to provide for community, food service management, and clinical. So this rotation that I'm in counts towards my community hours, and you need a certain amount of hours in each of those categories. Some other examples of community rotations that I've done are corporate wellness rotation. I've done a corporate wellness rotation, and then I've also done a nutrition, marketing, and private practice rotation, as well as, let's see, I think I did one more, but I cannot think of it. But those are kind of, you kind of get the idea of like what counts towards community. And then you also get clinical and food service management, which are not, I'm not going to be doing clinical and food service management in this video, but I can talk a little bit more about those if you're interested. I also wanted to talk about a little bit more about the commute. So depending on where your internship is located, you're gonna have different commutes to your sites, to your different sites, whether that be to clinical sites, community sites, or food service management sites. And I'm gonna continue to refer to that as a site. So that's what, if I say site, that's what I mean. So depending on where your internship is located, you're gonna have different commutes. I have a friend who is doing an internship in Columbus, Ohio, and she has a really long commute to her rotations and her different sites because she's in such a populated area. The area that I'm in the Central Coast, so it's generally less of a commute, although my internship happens to have a pretty big radius, so I'll be going to sites as far as an hour away from my house generally. But if you want more information about what your particular internship is asking from you in regards to a commute, I would suggest going to your specific internship site, like website, or I would consider contacting your director for more information about that. But like I said, it's going to be different for every internship. All right, you guys, we made it to the site. It was a pretty uneventful drive. This is the site behind me. I'm gonna try to film as much as I can in the site. I'll probably just show you guys what I'm working on and what my projects are. But before we go in, I just wanted to kind of talk about what I brought with me and what I usually bring to the site. So yeah, let's look at my bag. This is my bag. I got it from Target. It's just a big bag that I usually take to sites. So I have my water bottle here, my big giant Hydro Flask, not sponsored, but they can if they want to. So this site, I brought a notebook to take notes in. This is kind of what I've been using my whole internship to take notes in. So it has a lot of other, like all of these sticky notes represent one site that I've been to. I brought my laptop because I am working on projects that require a use of a computer, and I don't know what kind of access they have. Last time I was here, I was in an office, but this time I'm not sure if I'm gonna be in an office, so I just brought my laptop. I'll sometimes bring my laptop to sites depending on whether I'll have an office or not, or whether I guess it just depends on what projects I'm working on. But generally, especially for community rotations like I'll be doing today, I generally bring my laptop if I'm not worried about theft or anything like that. So let's keep looking at what's in my bag. And last but not least, I have a planner. This is really important for recording your hours, what time you get to the site, what time you leave, what time you take your lunch. So if we take a peek in here really quick, let's see. So I have like all of the things that I did. Yeah, like DaVita research, day off, I went to Palm Springs. Yeah, so I just kind of record what I did that day, when I went to lunch. But that's just kind of an example of how my planner looks like. And then last but not least, down there in the corner of my car is my lunchbox. And I generally bring my lunch to sites unless they have specifically told me that I will get lunch there. This particular site, since it is a WIC site, they do not provide me lunch, so I did pack my own. But usually, or generally, clinical rotations, you do receive lunch there, and my clinical rotation, I was lucky enough to receive breakfast there as well, so that was kind of a perk. And since I was at a hospital for my food service rotation, I also received lunch there as well, and breakfast actually, because it was part of the same hospital system, so that was actually really nice. Yeah, and then I have another food service rotation coming up in Oregon actually. It's my elective rotation, so I might receive lunch there as well. So I think we're almost ready to go into the site. I also brought my name tag. Generally, your internship will provide you a name tag to wear to different sites. This particular site, I was issued a name tag, but I haven't received it yet, so I'm just going to keep wearing this name tag until I receive a WIC name tag.
At my clinical site, they had a special badge for me to wear that got me access into all the stairwells and into the different doors of the building. So it'll just kind of depend on what site you're at, what name tag they want you to wear. But generally, they'll give you all that information when you initially contact them to start your rotation. So like I said, this is a WIC site. This counts towards my community rotation, but since we are in the pandemic, it's very limited of how often I can go into this site. So I am only going into this site 1 day a week. So this is my second time going into the site. The pandemic has kind of messed up all of our rotations. We've been doing virtual rotations for about 8 weeks now, and this is the first time that I've been able to go back to a site. Yeah, so how this usually looks is I'll spend 8 hours at the site, just doing whatever they need me to do. Today I have projects to work on, but I'll also probably do some shadowing with their health educators since I am at a WIC site, and they're doing patient education or client education primarily over the phone, so I'll get to see that. This is a primarily Spanish-speaking community, so I don't think I'll be able to understand a lot of what they're saying, unfortunately. That's kind of what happened last time, but we'll just, be flexible and play it by ear. That's kind of what I always say, just be as flexible as possible. I will be wearing a mask today, so that's another aspect of being an intern in the pandemic. So yeah, guys, I think I'm ready to head into the site. We will see you in there.
I wanted to mention that before you start a rotation, which rotations just means the sites that you're going to go to. So first of all, generally they're around a month to a few months long, depending on the rotation and depending on the type of rotation, meaning clinical, community, or food service management. But before you go to a site, I would highly recommend you research the site and who you're going to be working with. So in this instance, I was working with a WIC site. So I would research the specific WIC site, who is the manager there, who are the people working there, who am I going to be working with, and just other general things like what's their mission, what do they value as a company, just so that I could fit in the best way I can. I also would want to research anything nutrition related that their site maybe mentioned, just so that I don't ask any silly questions while I'm there, because you really want to portray that you are valuing your preceptor's time. So you don't want to ask anything that you can find out through the website. That's kind of like a no-brainer, just something you want to consider for really the rest of your life. Just don't ask any silly questions. And then I also like to kind of either write down or at least think in my head, what do I want to ask my preceptor? What do I want to make sure that I know by the time I leave that rotation? So for this instance, I wanted to ask my preceptor kind of her background, how she became a WIC dietitian, what qualities they generally look for in an employee. I also wanted to get a little background behind their specific WIC program, and kind of the different hierarchy levels or chain of command, I guess you could call it, in their WIC program. So those are kind of the questions I wanted to ask in this instance. And unfortunately, I won't be able to film. They didn't really want me filming in their site to begin with. So the footage that I have for you is kind of like a stealthy footage where I'll be doing some voiceovers. So I unfortunately won't be able to show you the conversation between me and the site supervisor, but just know that going into the internship, you'll generally want to research the site and then come up with some questions to ask your preceptor. Here is the office that I'll be using today. It's super nice. I'm so lucky that they were able to give me an office for the day because it really allowed me to get a lot of projects done. And I'll be showing you the projects that I'm going to be doing in just a second. Alright, so here are some of the projects that I'm working on today. This project I'm showing you right here is a text message project. This is a handout for pregnant women regarding what to eat during pregnancy for a healthier baby. There's the title. This is a pregnancy cravings and kind of what they mean handout that clearly I'm almost done with, which is nice. Oh my gosh, and I had connectivity issues this whole day. It was the most annoying thing. So I touched on projects a little bit in that video, and I'm going to talk about projects a little later as well, but I wanted to introduce the concept of projects. So generally when you are in an internship, your director will have required projects for you to do at each site. For example, at my community site, one of our projects was to do a, I don't know what it's called, nutrition promotion? It was a nutrition promotion project, which meant we had to do some type of community outreach program that aimed to educate people on nutrition. So your director will give you, and your director will definitely explain this better than I'm explaining it when you start your internship, but just know that there is going to be a list probably of projects that you will be required to complete at each site. And this is just so your director knows that you are completing your competencies. And every internship, I believe, has the same set of competencies that every intern needs to meet in order to graduate from the internship program. So to meet these competencies, you will need to complete projects in order to prove that you met these competencies. At least this is my experience. Other interns may have different experiences, but I'm assuming that they're probably pretty similar. In some way or another, you are going to have to prove that you have met those competencies in order to graduate. So those are your director projects, your internship projects. You also have projects that your preceptor or your boss. So when I say preceptor, just know that I mean your boss or whoever is in charge of you at the specific site. They're referred to as preceptor. So just know that when I say preceptor, I mean boss or person who is in charge of you. Your preceptor at each site is going to have different projects for you as well, and they'll probably also want to hear what projects you want to do as well. For instance, my WIC site today, some of the projects I'll be working on were primarily educational handouts for women who are pregnant, and that's a project that they want me to do, which is totally a fair project for them to want me to do. And some sites will have a lot of projects for you to do. Some sites will be like, you know what, we don't have any projects for you to do. Find a project that you're interested in and go for it and do it. So it'll vary depending on the site. But this site, they had very specific projects they wanted me to complete. So those, when I say projects, I'm referring to my preceptor projects. This is the text message project that I mentioned earlier but didn't get a chance to go too in depth in. I actually got to work on this project with another intern who is in my program but who is working on it virtually from her house, and you can see here that I'm researching and finding cool things to add to my document. These are text messages geared towards women and children that encourage healthy eating and healthy exercise and healthy habits in general. This was a fun project to work on because not only did I get a chance to be creative, but I also got to collaborate with an intern in my program where we normally don't get to collaborate because we're at different rotations at different times. So this was a unique opportunity that I really enjoyed. my finished text message project that I am getting ready to submit. I also was able to submit all my other handouts today, as this was the last day, unfortunately, that I was going to be at this Wix site. So I needed to wrap up all my projects, and I'm really glad that I was able to, and I'm so glad again that they were able to give me this wonderful office that I could really focus and get all these projects done. All right, I am back at home after a very successful day. I'd say it was pretty uneventful overall. I wasn't able to film a ton, but I also didn't do that much, so I didn't feel like you guys needed to see it. So yeah, hopefully it wasn't too boring for you guys to watch. I mostly just worked on my own projects in my own office, and that primarily consisted of the text messages that I showed you, and then all of my handouts that I was making for the WIC OB office, so a lot of stuff about pregnancy and things like that. I also helped them redo one of their bulletin boards today, so we're trying to advertise farmers markets and how to use your benefits at farmers markets. So I helped them kind of redo that bulletin board, and we added some pictures of fruits and vegetables, and we redid the title of the bulletin board too. But it wasn't that exciting, and I didn't end up finishing the bulletin board anyway, so I didn't think there would be much to show you guys, since I just like added some words to a bulletin board, so it wasn't that cool. Hi, Mocha. Hi. So yeah, other than that, we also did a workout video at around 4, so that's, if I look kind of sweaty and gross, that's why. So I ended up bringing my workout clothes, and that's something cool that they can do, that kind of puts a silver lining on this whole coronavirus thing, that they, since they don't have clients coming in, they can do workouts together and hang out and stuff like that during the day. So that was pretty cool to do and participate in that as a team with them. Yeah, these ladies were just super nice. I had a lot of fun being their intern, even if it was only for a few days. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this video wasn't too boring. Alright guys, and that wraps up my day in the life video. Like I said, not super exciting stuff on today's video. There's a lot going on with the pandemic and everything, so filming was a little bit restricted, unfortunately. Like I said, if I wasn't in the pandemic, I think I would have seen a lot more clients, and this experience would have been very different than what it looked like today. It's my last brain cell making those noises. All right, and that wraps up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so glad that I get to do these videos for you. It's so fulfilling to me, and hopefully it's really helpful for you guys, those future RDs to be, or if you're just interested in the nutrition profession in general. I know that they would have been helpful for me going into the internship or just in my undergraduate degree. So I hope they're helpful for you too. Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to follow me on No Food Fads Mads on Instagram. I believe I'm gonna have some exciting news coming up on that account. So make sure to follow me so you are in the know. And with that, I will see you guys next time. I don't know when my next video is gonna be. I have a lot going on in my life right now, and clearly I'm not even in, like, this isn't even my house, so don't know where I'll be next time, but I hope to see you guys then. Bye.